Well, welcome to this little video, and it's about finding the equation of a straight line given that you've got the gradient and a point. So let's just start off with a question. Let's say that the gradient is going to equal 2 and that the point that it goes through is 3 and 5. So the gradient 2 and it goes through the point 3 and 5. Now what you need to remember is with this, we're going to use the general equation of a straight line as y equals mx plus c. So they're my variable, they're the things that change, and then my constant is my gradient, which we call m, and where it cuts the y-axis, the y-intercept is known as c. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to drop the things I know into here, okay? Because I already know that gradient and I know a point. By doing that, I should be able to find the y-intercept, that constant. So I'm going to fill in the things I know. And that's how you kind of really do it, really. So remember here, this is my x and that's my y value. And don't get muddled with that, because we start with the y here, which is there. And I sometimes get that wrong. So I'm going to say it's 5 equals, now my gradient is 2, and m means the gradient, so that's 2. And in a bracket, I'm going to put my 3 plus c. So what I need to do now is work out, well, what is the value of c? So let's multiply this out. So I've got 5 equals 6 plus c. And I can see, what do I do? Let's just do a little number line here. Okay, I've got 6 and I want to get to 5. So what I do is I drop 1, don't I? I go down 1 value. So I can see that c here equals minus 1. So c must equal minus 1. So my equation, I'll write my equation out, it's going to be y equals, the gradient is 2x minus 1. Let's try a couple more questions so we really make sure we get this. Okay, let's try this one here where we step up a bit. So we say the gradient, don't forget we call that m, is going to be this time negative 3. Now remember what happens there, and it goes through the point 1, 4. Now when your gradient's negative, it goes the other direction, doesn't it? This positive 1, if we drew a little sketch here, okay, with this little positive 1, I know it goes through minus 1 and it's positive. So it heads that way, doesn't it? And don't forget, always label your axes. So here I know it's going to go the other direction. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy out the equation, y equals mx plus c. Always copying this out, it's always good practice to have it. And so that's my m, and then it's mx plus c. So those are the things that I'm looking for. And so let's just fill in, let's drop in what I've got here. I know my m value is negative 3, and I don't forget that's my x, that's my y, so don't forget that. So my y is there, my m is negative 3, bracket, my x is 1 plus c. Let's multiply that out and you get negative 3 plus c. Now what do I add to negative 3? Okay, number line. Okay, so I've got negative 3. I want to get to 4. What do I add to get to 4? And you've got it, 7. So I add 7, so c equals positive 7. And therefore my general equation is going to be y equals my gradient negative 3x plus 7. And you sometimes can write that, if you wanted to, as y equals 7 minus 3x. And that's sometimes how they write it. And then let's finally go for one with a fraction in it, because that can be quite challenging. So here we have the gradient, this time of negative a half, and it goes through to point 2, negative 1. So let's look at what happens here. Again, y equals mx plus c. Oops, daisy. So y equals something x plus c. And I just put them in different colours. I like colours. I think it really helps my memory. So here we go. Fill in what you know. I know I can see here that y, x, y is minus 1. My gradient is negative half. My x value is 2 plus c. So it looks quite confusing, so I have to be very careful what I do here. Because when you're trying to give minuses, you have to be very, very careful. Minus 1, half of 2 is 1, so it's minus 1 plus c. Now, interestingly enough here, what do I add to minus 1 to make minus 1? Nothing. So c here equals 0, which means it goes through the origin, which is interesting. It goes through the origin, and therefore this equation is going to simply be y equals minus half x. And that's how you do it. Hope this has helped.